was reverse parking, like learning, I would do the same thing, and I'd do it 800 times, and I would be feeling like people would be watching me and just being like, this freaking idiot.
The worst is when it's the middle of the day and you're parking at like a grocery store or something.
Yeah, in a plaza or something.
Yeah, and everyone's just watching you in their cars, and it's like, chill out.
And you know everyone's watching, you're just like, I just look like an idiot now.
Going to Starbucks makes me feel like I'm tall because their drinks are tall.
Just stop.
What?
She's saying that she can relate with the...
I can relate to the tall.
Okay,
I really wish you would have recorded that.
Oh, I am recording.
Oh, God.
Brandon and I went to McDonald's today, but on our way to McDonald's, we stopped at a stop sign, like, cause like there's construction going on right by the church.
Sure.
And so they have like one of those. I'm glad I stopped at a stop sign, right? Yeah. But anyways, so like like those regular like fences, not like the white picket fence, but like a regular like wired fence. So there was a duck flying right across my car, and then the duck like slammed into the fence. And then it fell back down, and then it was just walking. And I go to Brandon, I'm like, I'm pretty sure that duck has a concussion.
She was so concerned.
I was so concerned about this duck.
I was too, but then like 10 seconds in, I was like, no, that's just how ducks walk.
No.
Like in my head.
They waddle.
That duck was walking back and forth.
It looked like he was contemplating life.
It'd be like that.
Oh, I thought you was going to pull up right here.
Should I?
You can pull up over there, too. It's up to you.
I'll just pull up right here because I'm already in the spot.
Sonic is just too complicated.
Do we know what
for
we're
me.
getting? Yeah, I think
There's too much going on.
Cheese fries.
Excuse me.
Oh my gosh, are you still recording?
Yeah.
Yo.
Please edit that.
That's not a
Oh,
siren.
see, they have double cheeseburger. They have a double cheeseburger.
Now,
Or they have
I called it with the double burgers.
You did. And it's probably because they heard you talking and they were like, you know what? We ain't gonna serve this girl a damn double burger. We gonna tell her that.
I should be like, well, can you take two and just stack them?
I was gonna say that, but I was like, yeah, let's not be those
Just can
people.
we ask for the patty
That's
on
when
the
they start
side?
doing stuff to your
Can I
food.
get a patty
Can I
on
get
the
an
side?
extra patty with cheese on it?
So you said fries or tots for the first one?
Tots for the first one?
Monquitos.
And you want a cup of water?
Yes.
Or you want a bottle?
Alright, and for the next one?
And for the next one, I want onion rings and a ginger ale.
Oh man.
And a ginger ale?
Yeah, we don't have onion rings right
Yo,
now.
my ears are hot, bro. They talking about it.
Alright, anything else?
Yes. Can I have... I just think it's funny how we literally read the thing that said that they're going to be having a limited menu because, Corona is making everybody incapable of doing things.
Like
And
double
so
cheeseburger.
right.
Like, what the
So when we were like, watch them not have a double cheeseburger because that's extra work, too much work to put the two patties together.
in and slap a cheese.
You know what's bruh, you know what's crazy? And then when the lady's like, oh, we can't make double patties right now. It's like, if you think about it, when you make a double cheeseburger, you're literally just adding an extra patty.
Yeah,
it's not like they're
it.
bread, patty, lettuce,
Yeah.
tomato. Okay, now another patty,
There's
lettuce.
no double Krabby Patty.
Yeah, like, you what you mean you can't just slip another patty on there?
Exactly.
That don't make no
When
sense.
you're about
Alright,
to
they're
make...
coming, they're coming.
That was
They
fast.
quick. All right, welcome everyone to another episode of Would You Like to Continue? And yes, we are in a vehicle. We are in a car, and one of my good friends, Ariana. Say hello, Ari. As she's eating.
What a mouthful of bacon cheeseburger.
Hello, podcast.
Yeah, and there's a group of us in here. We got Marge. Say Marge.
Hola.
Marge.
Say Marge. Say Marge. Marge.
Roll call.
Oh my god.
That's not no.
roll call though. You say present. Like
Present.
you don't say like
Okay. Kiani
What's up?
and Victoria.
Hello.
My name is Siri.
You can't tell, but Victoria's a little mad.
Why am I mad, Brandon?
I don't know. That's a personal issue you gotta deal with the Lord.
Whoa.
take it up with Jesus, girl.
All's good. All right. So, you read the title. You know what we're talking about. Car talks. Why are they important? Why do we like them? What? I feel like it's like, I don't know. It's like something mysterious. We just have them, and they're great, and we just go to sleep with a smile on our face, but we don't, like, but why is it that, why does it work that way? Why are car talks so good?
Because you're with people that you want to talk to, and it's just natural. You're not forcing the conversation. It's like you actually like the people in the car.
Yeah, it's like spontaneous and it's raw because it's like you don't plan on it. It just kind of happens, and then those are always the best conversations. The ones that are just
Yeah.
pure and
Natural.
and it could be about serious things. It could literally be about nothing, but it's always the best because normally when you're having a car talk, you're with people you like. And so the conversation just flows, you vibe off each other's energy, and I think that's why they're so good. And you leave the conversation like, wow.
That
That was
was
actually
Now I know why I like this person.
And I think too, it's just like we're in like a private area of a car. Like we're not somewhere out in public. Like yeah, we're in public, we're in a car, but like it's different. Like in a house, like sometimes you have to be careful, like who's around, like who's hearing, or whatever the case may be. But in a car, it's a car, and it's just like you're chilling in a car.
Yeah, I think there's something super comfortable. And like, I don't know about you guys, but I'm the type of person who just hangs out in my car.
Yeah. Eat
So-
in your car.
Yeah, it's just super comfortable and you just feel cozy and like, you know the vibes. It's just, the vibes are right.
Yeah, totally. Like you'll be in a car, you get dropped off, and you just feel like for me, because your wedding is licensed to late, but like people always driving me places, and we're just having these great conversations, and then we're where we need to be, where they're dropping me off, but we'll stay in the car. And my words are fusing. I can't speak English. The car.
I drive my mom's
We
car.
stay in my mom's car. Oh my gosh.
The
Anyways.
accents, boy,
we
they
said-
always come out.
So yeah, we'd be staying in the car for like hours, just talking for like the longest time.
That's how Brandon and I got together.
Yeah, because again, I was a hobo. I didn't have a vehicle, and so I needed a ride from
I was
church.
his Uber since day one.
If she wasn't my Uber, I wouldn't be married to her. Because
So,
that's really where
look
friendship
at
came
that.
out of.
You guys heard it here first.
Yeah.
Don't get your license. Find someone to drive you around and
That's
boom,
it.
you're gonna fall in love.
That needs to be the
1, 2,
caption.
3,
You
I'm
don't
married.
need a
man with a
driver.
car.
I mean,
Now
so
we're
serious.
married.
Cause like we had a whole car talk, and then Brandon was leaving. No, stop it.
You made it
All
seem
right,
like, okay, car talks, plural. Don't think it's the
Talks.
first time I'm in a car
I'm
with
sorry.
you. I go and I kiss you.
No, okay, so we had multiple car talks. Like before Brandon and I got married, like we were just best friends, and then like
But the best friends became because of the car talks.
because of the car talks, literally. So like I would drop one of our other friends off at his house, and then Brandon would always be the last person I drop off because he lived closer to my house. And then
Yeah, sure.
And that friend was
It's
Jose.
yeah, the friend was Jose. So then there's Brandon. And then so like we would just sit in the car literally for like hours. And then one day he told me to get out of the car, so the car talk ended into him kissing me. And then fast forward and we're married.
Dang.
There's a lot of
That's
stuff.
So that's the trick. You gotta get them alone in the car, make
Yeah.
some conversation,
Make your
feel it out,
Make
and
it feel
boom.
a type
part
of
of
way.
those car talks, though, we talked about like relationships, things like that. But it wasn't me like trying to like
No, he was trying
sauce up or anything like
No,
that.
yeah, he was.
No, shut your face. She has her own fantasy. Of how the
Yeah,
whole thing went
clearly.
down.
It's like
I have a
he
mane,
pursued
the
me
white
from
collar
day
shirt
one.
with chest hair.
Yeah.
Looking like Fabio.
But no, it was it was after church. I guess you drop off Jose, everyone else you drop off. We sit in the car. We just talked about the service or other things. We talked about it for whatever. And there was one time
Brandon's
talking
girl
about
problems.
relationships. Yeah, I think so. I don't remember all
That
the
falls. That
relationships.
falls under relationship.
Victoria tried to throw that out there. His girl problems. I was there for him.
I was
Yeah.
there for
Hey.
him.
I wasn't even in a relationship. Though.
No, but there was this one psychotic girl that was like really obsessed with him.
Anyways, more tomorrow.
Yeah.
similar to it
She
all.
always gets brought up every time we talk. That one girl, bro.
That one girl. Anyways,
Freaking Gretchen.
Karen.
Freaking
It's
Milton.
okay.
Freaking Agnes.
Agatha. That's the ugly.
for
Helga.
for the protection of the people who
Yeah,
used false names.
these
Yeah.
are both names.
But anyways, no, yeah. So we would talk for hours and stuff, and we talked about like relationships. Like I would say, I always for some reason thought that she was gonna get with like a white dude. I don't know why. And I said, and I would tell her stuff like, man, like he has to come through me first. Like, I gotta talk to him. I gotta make sure like he's legit, because obviously I don't want her to get involved. And even knowing her like past and her involvement and guys being stupid, so I was just like, okay, like I gotta make sure this dude's like legit.
Yeah.
And the day that I kissed her that night, she's made it seem like, again, it was like 1, 2, 3, whatever. It was because we were both going to two different colleges, same college, but one was extension site, the other one was the main campus.
Yeah.
And so and every night, every time we would have the car talk, at the end I would come out, I'll give her a hug, go inside. That was it, whatever. And earlier that week, right, of the event, right, of the event, it was she was dealing with some stuff, and then there was a moment where like me, her, and a couple of friends were like working out at the park, and then she just wanted to walk home instead of like come to my house and then we leave like how we normally do it. I was like, where's Victoria? As I'm putting away like stuff, and they're like, she walked home. I was like, what? So then I like ran after her, like, what are you doing? And then she was like, you know, Brandon, it's just that I like you, you're a cool person and stuff, but I want someone more than just a friend. Like, you know, those like novella movies, those Netflix
I did
romantic
say
show
that.
movies, right? And
But mind you, like, I was going through, like, I just had gotten in an argument, I think, with my mom at that time.
yeah.
Love you, Linda. You're the best mom ever.
Yeah, we love Linda.
Shout out to Linda.
Dang, that food.
Yeah.
Keep going.
We're just still thinking about Linda's food from the wedding.
The sole reason why I came.
Right. All of us.
Wow.
Anyway.
Not for, like, me and Brandon.
But for Brandon,
Cooking.
What, Linda's there? Bet.
Yeah, exactly. We're all RSVP'd already.
But, yeah, and then so I started walking away because I was just ticked off. And I had, like, my mom yelling in my ear. And I'm just like, I'm going to walk home because I don't want to deal with people. And Brandon didn't live far from me. By walking, it was like 5 minutes or 10 minutes. And so I'm walking, and I see or hear, like, someone running after me, like, and I look, and Brandon's like, are you okay? And then, like, I'm venting about my mom. And then I'm just like, and not only that, but it's just like, Brandon, I love you. You're a great friend and all. But there's times I feel like I just want someone more. Because, like, I could vent to you and everything, but it's just like,
Yeah.
it was
And then
weird.
there was a moment where we walked up to like the corner where she'll turn right, walk a few blocks, she'll be home, and it's the end of like the San Lorenzo, the street that I live on, and we just stared at each other for a moment, and like that was like the perfect moment. Like I could have went and kissed,
Yeah.
but I just knew like there's just a lot of emotions that were high, and I just didn't want to take advantage of her in that moment, so I didn't do it. And then it was like, okay, awkward walk, both of us.
I
turned
literally
away.
ran. I
Yeah.
ran home after that because I was like,
Yeah.
is he about to kiss me?
I'm telling you, bro. Like all the stars are aligned in that moment. But I didn't want it to be like that. Like, cause especially since she was a great friend of mine and I respected her.
Right.
I was like, I'm not trying to like cross that line for things to get messy and just like weird. Cause I firmly believe that some people are better off as friends than you know than your significant other. Cause you may click as friends, you may vibe well in that sense, but in other areas that you know require you to be all in as a relationship, I think it could really bump heads.
Yeah.
But I think it's important though to just be with someone that's also a best friend. You know what I mean? So that's just kind of how that went down. The night after church, they said bye to us, like, oh, you guys going to college, blah blah blah. And then that's when I was talking to her. I was lost of words. I didn't know what to say, and her head was down. So me not knowing what to say, and then her head down, I got pissed. I was like, what? And I lifted her head up. Right, and then that's when I looked in her eyes, and that's when I kissed her. And then I went home, and one of my good friends, Xavier X, he was living with me, and so like he saw me, and I sat there. I was like, I'm satisfied with that, with those turns of events. And so our relationship started off long distance that first semester of college.
But all that to say, car talks are great.
Can get you if you're married, laid.
Oh my god!
He did not
I
just
can't
say
believe you said
that.
that. My ears are bleeding.
Yeah, that's not where that
That
was going.
escalated so quickly.
Hide your kids. No.
Well, you heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, you get married.
Car talks will get you married, and then you'll get lit.
It's a process.
There you
Yeah,
go.
If you do it backwards, you're probably not gonna get married.
Well, if you do it backwards, you'd be getting laid. Then your car talk would be last.
I don't know.
He was
Let's not
talking about
overthink
getting
it.
laid and married.
Oh,
He said you
okay.
wouldn't get married if you're
I
getting
was
laid. Because then what people don't
What's the
think marriage
point?
is.
Yeah. You're getting
I
your
mean,
cake.
hello, society nowadays.
Society.
That's what he was saying. Like, everything's backwards when it comes to marriage.
Yep.
But yeah, car talks. Like it's just, it's wild, and you say it's so organic. Like so, before we started recording, like asking the question about it, we had like 50 million conversations, cracking on each other, laughing at what's this chick's name? I almost called her Karen.
Chelsea.
Chelsea.
Don't disrespect Chelsea like that. Call her Karen.
Because she can't spell mozzarella sauce.
She acted like a
marinara sauce.
Karen holding our mozzarella sauce hostage.
No.
Can't put a patty on the
marinara
burger
sauce.
to make it a double.
Right.
No, that's breaking CDC protocol right there.
You just missing out on money, but all right.
Right. She
Go
can only
off.
make one single patty at a time.
Don't make no sense.
At all.
So, like, okay, think back to a really good car talk that you had with somebody, all right? And then just whatever you want to, like, speak on about that. Like, what was great about it, or what was, maybe, have you had one that started good, but then it got, like, awkward or, like, weird, and you try to escape?
No, I don't think I've ever been.
I've never tried to escape. When there were moments where it gets
on the
awkward,
floor outside.
and you're just like, now
Oh
what?
man, I just need some fresh air.
No, that's when you go to
No.
the music, you go to the little aux or whatever.
The
You're like,
aux.
let me show you this song that I think is dope, and like completely shift the conversation.
No,
to
I've
that.
had car talks that have led into like arguments.
Oh, I thought you were
What?
saying
and then it's
makeout
like,
sessions.
then it. Okay.
I was like, okay.
We're not
girl.
talking about that,
Right? That's what it sounded like she was
No,
going.
I've had car talks that have led into like arguments, and then it's like,
Get the heck out of my
yeah,
car.
get out of my car.
Oh my
but it's like
gosh.
I gotta drop you off to where I got drunk.
Well, at least you were nice to drop them off.
So yeah, and I guess that's part of like the realness of like having these conversations. It's like you have conversations about real things, and like you said, like feelings get brought up, whatever it may be. Like sometimes it leads to an argument. Like that's how real you get in a car talk. Like you're super transparent and you're telling somebody exactly how you feel. And I don't mean like confessing your love for them or whatever, but it could be about like hot topics like anxiety and they say the wrong thing or boom, debate, you know?
Yeah.
So I've had heated car talks where it's like, okay, now you're walking home kind of thing. But I don't think I've ever been in a situation where it's like, okay, now this is awkward.
It's crazy because there's a whole generations upon generations of people who can never experience the magic of a car talk
Yeah, that's
because they
tough.
didn't have cars. You know, I feel like this is like the evolved version of a table talk.
Yeah.
You know, talks at meals and dinners, like the Last Supper. If Jesus was today and not back then, it's the last drive-through. I don't know, like you know, like
In a van.
In a van.
That man had 12 people.
He had a Honda, right? Accord in one Accord. What was the scripture about his car?
Oh, crazy.
That's
Oh my
funny.
God.
It's an old meme. That's what I was saying. That's how I know what car he would have been rocking. But yeah, it's crazy like how this brings out the transparent. And I think it's the mood too. Like you don't have great car talks during the day.
That's
Like
true.
I feel all the great car talks have been either going from point A to point B or at night.
Yeah.
Those are the two scenarios for me.
Hence us right now at night at a Sonic.
Yeah, at night.
But I also feel like there's just something about the night that creates a whole different atmosphere. Like, not to sound like weird, but like I feel like for me, I'm saying like a lot, so please. But for me personally, like, you heard that like again?
Yes,
Just go,
I
just
was
go.
like, why are you looking at me like that?
Personally, I'm more like
So
I'm-
self-aware.
You should have said anything.
No.
I'm more. I have my best thoughts and like ideas or just conversation in general at night because that's when I don't know. There's just something about the atmosphere that just makes me feel more alive. It could be just because I'm not a day person and like I've been sleeping all day, so now I'm like awake. I'm ready to be alive. Maybe that's why. I don't know, but I feel like for me, it's just there's just something about the night that makes everything better. Music sounds better. The food tastes better. Everything's just better at night.
Thoughts, Kiani?
I feel like at first I was just gonna be like, yo, I totally agree, like the vibe, you know, like the shoots, everything you do at night is 100 times better. But it reminds me of one specific conversation I had with Erica Ramsey. At the CLC parking lot, we were parked by the gate by the houses, and we were just talking about life, like what we want to do, like, you know, generational curses. Like it became super deep and like really just like heavy. And I was telling her, I was like, yo, like there's just, I don't want any more superficial friends.
Yeah.
Especially in the church realm, you get a lot of those people who are like, hey, I'll always be there for you, like I hope you have a great day and everything's
Hey,
good.
praying for you.
Yeah, but then you never hear from them, they never really check up on you.
And they're not really praying for you.
For real.
So me and Erica Ramsey went deep just on that, and that really changed my mind about having conversations like that. And when the time is just more so who you're with. If we had a conversation like this during the daytime, it would still be flames.
Yeah, that's
because
true.
we're those kinds of people. When we're together, we talk about profound and things that really mean a lot to each of us in different ways. So I mean, yes, I'm all down for the nightlife and the vibes and stuff, but I feel like things can happen in the
Yeah.
daytime
Yeah.
too, bro.
I think
Because of who you're with.
Yeah.
because the car really tests the relationship between you and the person.
It's true.
Right? Does it breed into an argument? Is it awkward silence?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh! So we helped Pastor Tom move, right? It was a group of us guys, and me being with him in the U-Haul, we were chilling, we were talking. It was cool. I asked questions, asked some advice because I was trying to get married, all that fun stuff, right? Bet. Then I had There was.
Oh,
What?
God.
It's gotta be one of those.
I don't know if it was either. I think it was Mr. Peters.
Okay.
Peters, right? He was in the car with him, and it was just like silence, like all the way through, like awkward quietness, and then he would ask. I think he would ask a question. I don't know if it was him or Caleb. I don't think it was Caleb, but someone told me that, and I was like, dude, that must be tough, like weird. You know what I'm saying? Because even like how you talked about before, Kiani, about like holding pastors in a certain light.
Yeah.
And there's only certain things they can wear. Like, when Pastor Tom wore shorts, like, oh my gosh, he's wearing shorts.
Yeah.
I can see his
It's
knees.
like, bro, you got legs.
You got like, it's like, and so, even just certain things like that, it's like, oh my gosh, I'm with the senior pastor in the car of this mega church, you know, missions direct. Like, it's crazy how, and even that's the same thing with, I guess, a celebrity. Like, I'm in the car with this person, or I saw this person, or I touch, and it's weird how, and I feel like it's a subconscious thing. It happens subconscious before we're consciously aware of it.
For sure.
And we're aware of it, but we don't know why. It's just like a reflex. It's very natural that we can hold certain people under certain things like that. Like me, my senior pastor now, being part of the staff, like, the dude's super chill, super down to earth. And I remember when Victoria was getting hired, she was like very like, she was treating him like how we would treat, again, Pastor Tom. Yeah, we both respected him. It's no issue. But like, the relationship with my boss now versus, you know, PT was different. And Victoria was being very S-like personality. Brandon, da-da-da, this. Brandon, I'm like, girl, like, you're good. Pastor Rob's cool.
Yeah.
And it's not like cool, so we'll take advantage.
Yeah.
Bump that. No. Because of how chill he was, and he'll tell you to do something, and if you don't do it, he'll tell you as if he asked you the first time. And that's scary as heck.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, oh my gosh, I dropped the ball, but you didn't act like I dropped the ball. And it motivates me as a person to like serve him better, to be a better staff member, to be a better student, a pastor, and leader under him. And so it's crazy how like different relationships with people, including the hat they're wearing and the title, will influence your relationship with them. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've heard people say all the time, like, they're a really cool person, but as a boss or as a coworker or as a leader or even as a roommate, they're trash.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's just, relationships are weird.
Yeah, and I think, like, going back to like what Kiani said about like, you know, your group of friends or like the people you surround yourself with the most, I don't think people realize how important it is or how much it like impacts you, like the people that you're with all the time.
Yeah.
And for a long time, like, I always felt like I needed to have a lot of friends, or I needed to just, you know, always be surrounded by like a big group of people. And now I'm, you know, I have my core group, obviously sitting here in this car with me, but it's like
The one sound she makes is that.
it's
like a
like
dying
she
cat.
said, we bring out like different sides of each other,
Yeah.
but like good sides. So it's like we're constantly growing, learning, and having fun.
Right.
Yeah.
So the people that you're with, it's important, because doing life alone is, you're not called to do it.
Right.
And I'm a big believer in community. Like, I have such a heart for people. So I think, like she was saying, like, when you have your group and like you find those friends and those people who become like family or whatever the case, you could be in Target at noon and it could be a ball, or it could be, you know, anything.
Yeah.
So yeah, she's right, you know, about, it's not really about like the time of day or, you know, where you are. It's just, it goes down to like the people that you're with. Because if we were all in the car and like you put somebody else in here, that, you know,
The
it
dynamic
just
would be
throws off
different.
the whole, the whole
It
thing
is.
is just different.
You wouldn't say what you would usually say.
Yeah.
Like, you wouldn't make the same jokes.
Right.
It would just be different.
Because you don't know how they would take it.
Exactly.
If they take it the wrong way.
We'd be having conversations like, so what do you guys think about the weather today?
Yeah.
And we all, we're just, you know, we're made in the image of God, and God's a community in himself. So we all crave community. We crave, you see it, like, we just want to be a part of something.
Yeah.
You know, we want to be, you know, like, we want a name for ourselves, a group. And that's part of, you know, for teenagers and especially young adults as well. And we're trying to find who we are. And for some people who feel like that season of their life was stolen from them, whether they had a kid at a young age or they were forced to grow up, they may try to revisit that question of who am I?
Right.
Where do I belong, right? And so that's why, like, you know, people are in gangs because it's a sense of belonging, you know. That's why so people are very passionate about some of the groups they're about because these people share similar, not just views, similar pain, similar hurt, and because of that, it brings them together. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And with that, because your hurt influences your values and your perspectives. And you know, and I agree. Like, you can have these great conversations anywhere, at a house or what. It doesn't matter because it's the people you're with. I think cars though really help establish that. Really help us understand who, if that person. It's like a test. Again, it's like a test. Like, are you that person I can be that authentic with and genuine? And then even how you feel after. If you feel guilty about the conversation you had, with you being authentic and vulnerable, they're probably not a person that can fit in your inner circle, you know. And it's important to, and it's, man, we talk a lot. Remember, like in SEU, we were, you know, clicky, we like click. I think, okay, it's important to have your own personal group of friends, but also just don't be a jerk to other people about it.
Right.
And I think that's what's the clickiness, right? But then other people admire what you have as how you vibe with your group of friends. They like the idea of being part of your group, and then they get offended when they don't mesh, and they're like, oh, they're being a clique.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's not the case. We're not trying to exclude you. It's just our personalities or our views or where we're heading doesn't mesh well.
Yeah.
You know, show me your 5 closest friends, and I'll show you where you'll be in the next 5 years. Show me who you're with, and that'll show you your future. Because you start gaining their personality, characteristics, the way you dress, behavior, and the way you talk. And so if you surround yourself, no offense, but with trash people, you're gonna become trash.
Oh, hands down.
And so that's why, like, for example, like if we look at our group and if we analyze, you know, who we hang out with and what it is, we really bring out the creativeness in every single one of us because we're creative in our own way. Like, we had that movie night, and that whole thing was dope. They had the mattress set up right next to the couch with some awesome blankets, right? They had the Christmas lights, the yellowish ones hanged around. They had printed out things of Admit One and movie. We had a whole concession stand, man, with like the candy and everything, popcorn, like. It was dope. And then we had a movie that we all watched, and then we had a great conversation after it. And so, like, we brought that out of each other, you know? Like, Ari's a naturally hospitable person, so her mind just started going because we had a group of friends to do that with, you know? That you're like, that motivated you. You're a people person, so being around people brings out that creative hospital side of you. You know what I'm saying? And Kiani, now you're killing it with your paintings, doing your little paint stuff, your photography stuff or whatever, you know? And then, like, it's really cool for all of us to hang out. And then, like, I know for me and Victoria, when we've had a lot of conversations with Marge, it's really tested us as leaders and as ministers, because we're like, okay, we see what these other leaders and ministers are doing, and we don't like it.
Right.
So what are we gonna do about it?
Yeah.
I feel like if you it's okay to see the wrong in things, but what's next?
Right.
I feel gossiping is seeing the wrong, talking about it, and not doing anything about it.
It's
and
just gossip.
It's just gossip.
Yeah.
But we're like processing, like, yo, what if we were in their shoes? That would suck. Or how would we handle this? And we would ask some like deep intellectual questions where we get stumped. And we're like, yeah, I don't even know. Like, God, you know, and we genuinely, like, Lord, we pray for that person because that would suck to be in that situation. And so it's good to have friends. And I feel in different seasons it shifts, and you have something really special if these people don't really shift. Even the distance, because the distance will even test your relationship. Yeah, we probably all have that friend that you don't have to talk to for a while. Then you talk and it's like nothing changed. Like, hey, how's it
Stop
going?
it.
Blah, blah,
Marge
blah.
raised her hand.
Oh my gosh.
Marge, you
I
were
was
currently
MIA.
serving.
Okay, but yeah, you literally
Yeah.
have
You
Marge
were being
has been literally
responsible.
fighting
Unfriended.
Corona.
So Marge, for those of you that don't know, Marge is in reserve, right? National Guard Reserve?
National, it's just
National Guard.
National Guard. Okay, my bad. I'm sorry. I got you, girl. But she serves in the National Guard, and right now she's working like nonstop in like a COVID testing site. Don't worry, she's like guarded up. She like has mask on mask on mask, like layers upon layers, because you know, like Because people are gonna be like, what the heck? Why is she hanging around COVID?
about
Bruh, chill
Karen.
out, chill out.
Yeah, I think about Karen.
She's
Bro,
she's
you
being
go to
considerate
Publix.
for Karen.
You're around COVID
Hey,
people.
but she
I know.
also has the armor of Christ. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Amen.
So
She's
she has that
covered
as
by
well.
the blood of Jesus. Come on, somebody. So yeah, Marge hasn't really been around much, but
Yeah.
we love her, and you know, she was
Nonetheless.
here
Yeah, so
for
that's
the talk.
different. I'm talking about the people who can squad up with you, but
Yeah.
they come up with the millions of other excuses why
Yeah.
they can't.
Yeah.
And that's okay. If that's their life, then that's their life. Like, it's not like we're gonna be butthurt about it. Maybe at first, because we do take it a little bit personal.
Right.
It's like,
Yeah.
yo, this person that we were transparent with, open up with,
Yeah.
we really don't hang out with.
No tea, no shade.
But then, you know, but it's just different seasons of different people's lives.
Yeah, and I think with that, it's just acknowledging you're allowed to feel what you feel. Your feelings are valid. If you feel frustrated, if you feel hurt, you know, that they're not coming around, they're doing other things, they're not prioritizing your friendship, you're so entitled to feel that way. I've come to a place, like, because I've been in that situation where I'm just like frustrated. I'm like, you know what, bump that person, I don't care, kick them out of the friend group, like, we're done. But I've come to a place where it's like, you have to love people where they're at. And you just have to acknowledge that, like Brandon said, we all go in through different seasons. And, you know, you have your core circle that the seasons are changing around you guys, like, but you guys are still together.
Yeah.
And then you have, you know, the other layer of friends who maybe right now they're in their busy season where they're working a lot, or they've made new friends and they're caught up in that. Like, you shouldn't hold hard feelings or hold anything against them, but just love them where they're at. You know, like, leave that door open. And if you're like me and you're the type of person who chases people, don't stop chasing people.
Yeah.
Because sometimes they need that. Like, they need that person who's like, hey, texting them every week, hey, we're doing this, hey, come over, hey, are you free? And even if the answer is always, oh man, I can't, love them the same. And just because there might be a time where it's like, dang, that person was the only one when I was super busy who was constantly, you know, still reaching out, still checking on me. And maybe they're just busy for that season, and then things slow down and they have the time.
Yeah.
So you never really know the situation. But I just want to say that for whoever's listening and is like, I'm tired of being the one always hitting them up, always, you know, trying to make plans and never them always saying no. Like, don't give up on them, you know, just keep pursuing them.
Yeah.
And that was like a hard thing for me because it's frustrating. Like, it's frustrating.
Everyone
And
who's been there can
exhausting.
agree.
Yeah,
Yup, exactly.
yeah, and it's like it feels super one-sided, and that was like a humbling moment for me because Jesus was like, "Girl, I've been chasing you for how long?
Right.
You keep running the other direction, ignoring my phone calls, and I'm still sitting outside knocking on your door." So,
I already
and
got
that's
Jesus juked.
yeah, literally, I was like, "All right, Lord, I got
he does
it."
He don't speak much sometimes, but then when he does, you're like, ugh,
Yeah,
Cocotazo
He
to the
goes
face,
off.
bruh.
He goes
where'd that
off.
chocolate come from?
I was like, you know what, Jesus? All right, I'm gonna love him where they're at. I'm gonna do it.
Yeah, and it said love God, love people, and
Yes.
and that's the way to love them. It's to pursue them, and that's reflecting Christ. He's gonna never stop pursuing you. God will always continue to come after you. He will always continue to pursue you. You know, and we need to be the same. Because there's some people out there who genuinely need it,
Yeah.
and that's where something may click for them to do what they need to do, to come to God, to access what God has for them to realize their potential when everyone else does. And it's wild because the enemy realizes our potential before we do.
Yeah.
That's crazy that our enemy sees the damage we can cause and how powerful we can be before we even do it. And so that's why we have to make that decision every single day to continue. You know, and even with like the concept of car talks, like try to have a car talk with God. I know Victoria, she's had
I do
many
that,
awesome
yeah.
worship sessions, and
It's
she'll come
so
home,
good.
I'm like, why are you crying? It's like, I was just, you know, worshiping God, and you know that
I have mini concerts in my car. Or like in my car is where I get like really vulnerable with God. Especially like, you know, I love Brandon and everything. It's just like there's times like I'm like I really feel like I can't be as vulnerable with God right now because Brandon's in the living room playing
playing
Xbox.
Call of Duty.
And I'm like, I don't want to get distracted, like how stupid he got killed. But like, so like, it's just like those times where I'm just like, I'm gonna get in my car and I'm just gonna cry this out. And I'm gonna yell. And I'm gonna like tell God like what's good. But then it's just like, I feel good afterwards.
Yeah.
And I know God is just there like, shush, shush, like, you're fine.
I remember this one time, it was after a church service. So I just became a youth pastor. I was youth pastor for like a few months in that time. And it was a phenomenal night. Like, there was this guy, this student, that he struggled, like, showing his emotions and stuff for whatever reason, for what he's been through. And when I texted him, try to be a youth pastor, just the driest conversation. Like, my mouth, I was like, what in the world?
Ate too many galletas.
and then, you know, I'm like, and I remember living with Pastor Christian. I was talking about it. It's like, bro, I get you. Those little ones, you gotta keep pushing. And that night, right, he came to me after service, like, Pastor Brandon, like, that meant a lot. Like, I really appreciated your message. I think it was your best one yet. And as he's talking to me, you see him start getting choked up out of nowhere, and just like, I'm sorry. You know, it's just, he starts tearing up, and he's like, it's happening. And then he goes ahead and he starts crying right there, and I hug him like, let it out, bro. And this was like after kids camp and stuff, so I heard a new Christian bop, right? And so, like, as I was driving home, I'm praising God and I'm blasting that stuff, and I was like feeling it. I was like, yeah. And like my windows rolled down, driving to CLC to pick up Victoria because she was still an intern. But I was like, let's go. Like, and I felt so alive in the car. Just the windows rolled down, air blowing, the right song playing, you know, and it's really cool. And it sounds weird, but like, we're so blessed to have vehicles to break down when you need to in the car, to have those great talks, for God to humble you in it, for all that stuff. But with all that being said, does anyone have any final comments or statements before I ask everyone the famous question?
Have more car talks.
Yeah.
Just have more of those. And even if you're by yourself, have a car talk with Jesus.
Yeah.
If cars could talk, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Vroom, vroom.
And if you don't have a car, connect with someone who does. Like, if someone is like, I'm going to Publix or something, just like,
can I go
be
with
like,
you?
can I go with you, even if you don't
Remember
know
when
that
you were a kid and you would
person?
want to do that with your parents?
Like, you wanted to get out the house, like, do that.
Yeah.
Step
Yeah.
out of your
You just
comfort
never-
zone.
Yeah, like, you never know what's gonna happen, like, in those car talks.
Yeah.
It's like, maybe it's just like, you'll be there for someone that's desperately in need of like connection, and you just never know.
Yeah.
Or you could find your freaking best friend.
Yeah.
Or in my case, you could find your future husband.
Yeah, we know.
Hey.
Victoria. For the third time this car talk, she's mentioned you guys are married. We know.
Car talks lead to community, and they lead to deeper conversations and deeper relationships. And sometimes you have conversations you didn't know you needed,
Yeah.
and you connect on a level with someone you didn't think you could.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So don't ever, I guess my final tidbit would be, don't stop chasing community. And if you feel like, you know,
Put that car in sports mode.
Yeah,
And go after that
just-
community.
Yeah.
just go, just chase it, because in the end you'll find exactly what you're looking for.
Man.
That's so good.
Victoria's like,
Oh my
I'm
god.
start crying.
I have
She
a
already told us
question.
she was
Oh,
gonna
what's the
start crying.
question?
So what if, because we talked about how, like, have you ever had, like, that time when, like, the car ride was awkward? I just remembered, and I did have that car ride, and it was super awkward.
go ahead.
What do you do when that car ride is awkward? Like, how do you, like, do
I
you
told
just...
you mess
You
with the
plug in-
music.
yeah, plug
you
that
try to
accent.
switch the subject and make it something lighter. Maybe if it was too heavy, like you have to
But
feel
what
it
if there's
out.
no talking
Okay,
at all?
so for me,
Ugh.
my
I don't know.
go-to,
Make
my-
a joke. I don't know.
make
I
a
do.
dad joke.
I crack a lot of jokes. So.
My go-to thing is asking questions, because you can never run out of questions. And if chances are, if the conversation is awkward, you're in the car with someone you don't really know.
Yeah.
So ask a question. What's your passion? What's your biggest dream? If you could go anywhere in the world, why?
Yeah,
Where
that's
and
what I did with
why?
Pastor Tom.
That's
I was
good.
like, I'm trying to get married. You got any books to recommend?
Yeah.
That's
You know,
good.
I'm like, like, hey, how have you be able to balance being a father and a pastor? Like, I would ask them those conversations.
Yeah,
It's
childhood,
a good cop out.
passions,
Yeah.
just things, especially if you have them talk about themselves.
Yeah.
Because then they'll talk and it'll help you learn more about them.
Yeah.
And kind of decide whether, like, oh, this could really be a healthy relationship for me to, like, continue to grow and just be a better person.
Yeah.
So you just have to continue to open that door.
With you saying that, I thought back actually another person who was with Pastor Tom, man, and I forgot who told me that. They told me how it went, but then they said, see, they messed up because they spent the whole time talking about themselves.
Yeah.
And they didn't realize
They
who
missed
we
out
were
on
in
the
the car
wisdom.
with
Mm-hmm.
and like what questions to ask.
Yeah.
And ask them. And so when chasing community, ask questions.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Don't try to sell yourself.
Yeah.
Just challenge the communities you're chasing.
Yeah.
Because if you're just going into and trying to get in, but you don't fully understand the community you're trying to go into, that could be dangerous to get so involved emotionally, spiritually, and all that stuff with it. So it's just you ask the right questions, and as you ask questions, you'll get better at it, right? 'Cause like I'm not good at asking questions,
Yeah.
but with questions comes wisdom. So the better you get at it, the better you'll grow and develop and be the best version of yourself and find the right communities, etc., etc.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
That's really good.
But like he said, ask good questions. Because if you ask like, so what's your favorite color? Oh, blue.
Ask open-ended
Cool.
questions.
Yeah. You
is
wanna?
one thing.
Yeah.
On a scale from 1 to 10, what's your favorite color of the alphabet? Left or right? Like,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
So, because I'm an overthinker, I'm somebody who is constantly looking at, like, I showed you that Right Now Media that I was working on, Brandon, for Firewall,
Yeah.
about the 10 ways to have good conversation, and one of them is just open-ended questions. So I would Google just good questions to ask people to get to know them. And I would
Okay.
have a list on my phone of just, like, questions that I would like to ask people to know, like, those really interesting or like deep parts of people that they don't normally talk about. Like you, I'm sure, have a list like that, because every time we're talking there's always a question like that comes so left field and you're like, wow, that's a great question.
Yeah.
It sparks great conversation.
Yeah.
So,
Marge just knows all about that. She had a whole test, like, what was that whole season of school you had to do? You had to interview people and ask certain questions. And
Oh
they-
yeah, the counseling class. Oh my god. And I had to like grade myself.
You don't have to be a counselor to have counseling conversations.
Right.
In car talks, a lot of those are
Facts.
counseling conversations.
He acts like
You
he's
should
a
do
pastor.
this,
I'm just kidding.
it's funny when he refers to himself as Pastor Brandon. I'm like, yeah, we know you're Pastor.
I had to get used to that because of the students. Oh, that reminds me. I also have you guys' sorry, sidetrack. The Waypoint student ministry stickers.
I was looking at that on your phone, and I was like, when did you get stickers?
We're official.
I need a better case now, though.
gonna put it on my
we're gonna get
laptop.
stickers for
I put
Would
it
You
on
Like to
my-
Continue, so stay tuned.
Yo. We're ready.
For everyone
What about
that
singing
you talk
acapella?
Whoa.
Guy imitation, please.
Oh gosh, don't start with that again.
All right. Well, thank you everybody so much for tuning in and listening for just about an hour of us having a great car talk of ourselves.
Yeah,
Dang, an hour?
Yeah.
yeah,
That
pretty
was
much.
fast.
Wow.
This
I don't want to stop.
This is literally our lives. We talk till 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, not realizing, dang, it's 3 o'clock in the morning. We gotta go.
Yeah.
I'm leaving. 6 hours later.
Freaking Caleb, he took his
went to
backpack
use
off.
the restroom, came back.
Yeah.
He's like, "Are you leaving?" No, I'm using the bathroom. Comes
Yeah,
back.
yeah.
All right. What?
He said, "Oh, we're having a conversation. Let me wait."
Yeah.
Yeah. So with that all being said, I'm asking you all that famous question of, would you like to continue? Thank you everyone and have a blessed night. Everyone can say bye now.
Bye.